Alright then, welcome back to the channel. Hope you had a good weekend. Hope you enjoyed the game at the weekend if you watched it. And we are on the countdown now to the Premier League season kicking off on Friday night. United dropped their kit over the weekend. The white one with like the flag kind of colour to it. I like it actually. I think it's quality. I might even go and get one. How about that? So everyone wants to know now, who we signing next? Like, what is the next transfer that's coming in? And there's a couple of the big sort of accounts, the likes of Romano and that, saying that United are going to be moving mad still over the next couple of weeks. Probably not. I don't know if we'll get one done over the coming few days and have a new signing ready to go ahead of Friday. But we moved pretty quickly on Deligt and Mazraoui. And I did transfer review. I did it Friday. Obviously, it goes out on Saturday. And at the time, I said it feels like we just need to push a button on like a handful of the transfers. And those transfers, in my head, I was thinking Mazraoui and Deligt. They seem pretty straightforward. Within a couple of hours of that video going out, that was done. The other one is Rabiot. I feel like Rabiot, and actually Amrabat, if I'm being honest about it, I feel like they're just a case of we decide to make them happen and they're Manchester United players. But I still think that we're in for that big number 6. Now, I don't know if it was another defender that we were still looking at. There was some talks of Hermoso last week, which I was quite happy with, to be honest. I like him. I think he's a good player, and I think he'd be a player that I wouldn't mind seeing. And at the price, free, you can't argue with that. And I would have been very happy with that. But United have apparently said no to him now, according to Eduardo Burgos. Sky obviously have mentioned that Deligt and Mazraoui are arriving at Carrington. I would expect later today, this afternoon, tea time maybe, that you're going to be seeing the photographs of those guys in the shirts, all the media stuff and everything like that. So I expect that's what's going to be happening. Simon Jones has reported that United are going to hold a recruitment meeting today to discuss the next targets and who could yet leave, with interest building in Victor Lindelöf. As I've said for a couple of weeks now, I actually think that the leaves, obviously Bissaka still needs finalising. I think McTominay could go. I wouldn't be surprised if a couple of the youngsters went as well, to be honest. Palestri could go. And then there's the big ones. The likes of Jadon Sancho, the possibility of Casemiro. Are people softening on the idea of Casemiro sticking around? We will see. I think there's a medical for Bissaka this morning, according to David Ornstein. So I expect that one to go ahead for Bissaka. But, it isn't done until it's done. So, there's still clearly lots to do. And it's funny watching towards the back end of the tour. Obviously, we came out on the tour. We got Xerxes done. We got Euro done. Everyone was like, yes, flying. And then it kind of stalled a little bit. But then you've just gone bang, bang. And 2 more transfers have come in with an absolute quickness. And everyone's kind of settled down again. I have faith in this new football board that we've got. I do. I think they'll get the job done. Sander Berg feels like another one that probably could be close. I wonder where the likes of Ugarte are in the thinking amongst all of this. You know what I mean? Old Trafford TV says Ugarte. Benji says Casemiro is looking sharp, to be fair. Lutaya Dash says we need a body in the midfield. Absolutely agree on that one. NT says if we manage to find clubs from McTominay, Lindelof and Sancho, I think it's almost guaranteed we'll bring in more players, if not just for numbers. CTB says Casemiro is fine hanging around, but to use him on special occasions like Eriksen, but shouldn't be the main guy. I think that'd be interesting. Yeah, if you move Casemiro to a more once a week kind of guy, he might be all right. Christian Shea, who's been a member for 33 months, well played, son, says, what do I think about a buy Amrabat / Ugarte loan with an obligation to buy option for United? I could roll with that. Now, if we bought Ugarte and brought in Berg, I'd be happy with that. If we brought Ugarte and Amrabat, I'd be happy with that. But I would expect players to move with that, though, I think. It's not on, says North on, sorry. what's my opinion on Ugarte? I really want him. I think he brings coverage. Like, I think he gets left and right across the pitch really well. And I think that's what's needed. So, yeah, I think that he would be a really good signing for us, to be honest. Ryan says, do I think Rio and Scholes done homework on Delit? Doesn't feel like it. They said he played behind Dyer, but when fit, he played. Brilliant versus Arsenal. Appearances for Bayern, 22 out of 34, 31 out of 34 for Juve. What, I can't, 29 out of 38. He's had injuries. Like, let's be honest with that. He has had injuries, as has Mazraoui. But you would think, like, I sort of mentioned this in the videos over the weekend. We seem to be gathering these 3 for 2s. You know, we've got 3 good players for 2 starting spots. I think it's a great place to be in. We've got 3 fullbacks for 2 starting spots. Like, I'm quite all right with that, you know. Greg says it's all gone quiet on Andre. It was always quiet on Andre. I don't think there was ever any noise, actually. Calm says Rabiot has an evil mother who demands 400 grand a week as wages. Like, where have you seen that? I haven't seen that. Ant says, Steve, been talking to some Spanish fans. I'm in Spain, by the way, and they reckon we are mad for not signing Zubamendi. Described him as our next Carrick. The problem is, mate, and I like Zubamendi, I really do. I think he's an excellent footballer, but if you put Zubamendi and Mainu into a midfield 2, you're getting physically overrun. Like, the reason Rodri works for Manchester City is because they play with 2 midfielders doing the creativity. So they're essentially 8s, but they play as 10s, or you could say one is a bit more of a 10. De Bruyne covers some ground, right? They also hold the ball for 60-65% of the game. They have a linchpin in Rodri and previously Fernandinho that is excellent at covering the ground, but they are a physical specimen. Now, United don't play that style. If we did, you could bring a Zubamendi in there, I think, but not as the 6. Zubamendi would come in and would be someone that helps you keep possession. But you're going to need a player with the physicality. You would be bringing in Zubamendi to replace Mainu, right? What's the point? We need a different profile of midfielder. Like, he's a great player. I agree, right? There's no 2 ways around it. He's an absolutely brilliant technician, but he isn't what we need. Do you know what I mean? There's no point us signing another player that doesn't fit what we need. We need someone that's going to cover the ground. If you look at the sort of tactical way that we're trying to shape up, and it kind of answers why we were the way we were a little bit last year. The way we want to press was evident at weekend against City. It's a 4-2-4 press, which means that in the middle, sometimes you're going to get caught out and you need a guy that can cover some serious ground. Pace and physicality are like the number 1 box that requires ticking for a midfielder for us. And then they need to be able to receive the ball on the turn and help us play out. But they've got to be able to stop those counters. That wasn't, United's issue last year kind of was playing out, but that'll get fixed with Mazraoui, Deligt and Martinez and Shaw. They'll be able to play out, even if they have to bypass that single lone midfielder, which, they won't. But those guys will enable us the platform to play out from. If you just have another sort of progressor in the team there, like a Carrick, like a Zubamendi, you're going to still concede 24 shots to Everton. And I think that's why we have to find this aggressive sort of like destroyer in midfield. And I think that's why he's important. And I hope that explains why I think that somebody like an Ugarte, who does pick up fouls, who does pick up yellow cards, but does cover like 14k a game and will get across there, and isn't bad on the ball either. I think that's why we're after that sort of profile of player, in my opinion. Ben says, why does the 3rd kit have an Egyptian flag on it? That's United's colours, mate. Like, look at all of the flags. One thing I love about United is you don't see like the St. George Cross flag inside the stadium. You see the Yemen flag with words on, don't you? Andrew says, do I think Slabhead will initiate a transfer to save his England career, or are wages his priority? Couldn't say, mate, to be honest with you. CTB says, I don't fancy Berg because of a lack of ball progression. No, I wouldn't say that. Actually, Berg does progress the ball all right. If he plugs the massive gap between defence and attack, I think Ten Hag may just want the ball recovery guy and not care about ball progression. Yeah, that's kind of what I've been saying a little bit in that one. Jace Park says, afternoon, Steve. Sausage rolls ordered for 25th of May. Pants optional. Imagine we have a great start to the season. Like, there's not actually a huge percentage change required for you to start really doing madness. Patrick says, yeah, am I about to get carried away? Yeah, maybe. Patrick says, hey, Steve, what do I think of Ericsson and Harible's role will be this year? Do you think they have much game time, or will they leave before the window? I'd be surprised if both of them stick around, to be honest. Tiago says, I'm sure it's going to be Ugarte. I think it's United walking away from the deal to pressure PSG into selling at the lower price. Yeah, I think there's some fuckery afoot. A8 says, why did we sign Xerxes? Should have a ready-to-go striker. If you'd have signed a ready-to-go striker, Højlund would never have got injured and would never be out of form, because that's the way it is. I like the idea of signing someone who's a little bit different. Notch says, is the Rata/physical midfielder going out of fashion? I don't think so. I just think they're a rarity. I think because of like the academy systems, I think everyone is a centre mid, and everyone is kind of in that kind of Michael Carrick role a little bit. I think everyone wants to be, someone who's tidy, gets on the ball, gets on the turn, can play it to feet. And I think that the academy system's wrong for that. I think it trains out, apart from your mad outliers like Rooney and that, I think it trains out of you those sort of like street footballer instincts. And I'm going to contradict myself a little bit on that, because I see it at Paddock where we get power league players, I would call them, where people have got unbelievable technical ability, but they actually don't know how to play football. But that's still not quite the same, because you do have to know how to play football. And by that, I'm talking about the sort of football intelligence that you would associate with Roy Keane, the sort of stuff where if your centre half goes on a rampage, he would just slot in, doesn't need to be told, just because they know what's going on in 11-a-side football. Power league players, they just, if I describe a power league player, that isn't Wayne Rooney. Both is and isn't a power league player. Wayne Rooney is an intelligent footballer that understands the game, but also he has got the skills to be a power league player. That's not the same. Power league players are like the unintelligent players that want too many touches, come and get the ball to feet all the time, don't understand how to move around opposition, don't understand how to play as part of a team. I think that's the thing I'm sort of scratching at there. You get a lot of people who've got excellent technical ability but don't actually know how to play as part of a team in 11-a-side football. And I think on one hand, academy football does take away at least elements of players' natural instinct. You need players that play off the cuff, you need players to play with flair, but I think those specialist centre-half positions, specialist wingers, specialist strikers, I think they're going out of the game in favour of just every single person being a centre mid, and I think that's sad. I think you lose a lot of the game to that. Like, does a Batistuta come through nowadays? Do you know what I mean? I think that's the sort of thing I'm stabbing at there. I think. Gallic Breadman says, "What was the official reason given for not starting Xerxes or Amas?" I don't know. There was a game yesterday. I'm assuming at Carrington. I don't think it was at Old Trafford. And there was an 11-a-side game yesterday where people who didn't feature long in the Charity Shield played. I think it was like an 11 versus like an Academy 11. I haven't got the starting 11s for either side, but I do know some people who featured in them. You can guess who. Rocky says, TalkSport at it again. Why are they so desperate? It's fucking pathetic, isn't it? This weekend we've had Robbie Fowler. I've already seen that. Like, thank you to everyone that sends me stuff. I do appreciate that everyone thinks I'm fucking sending that, Steve. But yeah, I have seen the stuff with Graham Souness calling Delit lightweight. Is it because he looks like his face doesn't look like a big guy? He's a fucking unit, right? I don't like. He's got the face of a small man. And all I can assume is, he saw him at 17 playing for Ajax, hasn't seen him since. Done. 6'4" Ahmed says, it's probably a matter of cycles. Having centre mids all over the pitch countered the traditional style, and in the time traditional style will come back to counter the modern pep robotic shit. Yeah, you're probably right. Makiel says, Ten Hag said Amas didn't start because we needed some seniority there. I don't think that makes any sense whatsoever, but okay. Tyrone says, Robbie Fowler now making a living out of talking about Manchester United years after being envious of looking up to us winners when he was at Liverpool and City and Leeds. You've got to remember that as well. Ross says, TalkSport have to pick on everything at United. They do. It's so transparent with TalkSport. It's horrendous. My opinion on United's new third kit, I absolutely love it. I think it's a sensational bit of kit. I like it. 6'4" Armour says he has a baby face, but even in his Ajax days, he looked like an American football player. Yeah, it's Graham Souness. Let's stop applying logic to an old fuckwit like that. CTB says, why does Ten Hag seem to want different styles of strikers, but in other positions would like to have two plan A's than a plan B? I think because when you have two styles of strikers, both of them can play at the same time, and I think it gives you I know some people will disagree on this, and that's fine. I don't think having multiple options in your back line is the move. I think actually having multiple options in your forward line is the move, if you know what I mean. And I think if you're chasing a game, you can bang both of them on and see how it goes. Yol says, do I think we would have gone full throttle for Deligt if Yoro hadn't been injured? I don't know. I suspect we might have done. I mean, the price for the pair of them is brilliant, isn't it? £51 million for the pair of them. That's 90 by Friday, by the way, by the time the Premier League starts. But just letting you know. But 51 million for those two is absolutely fantastic piece of business, I think. Joseph says, good to see you, Steve. I think a lot of people are majorly underrating Deligt, and I believe he will bring massive amounts of leadership to the club, which we've missed big time. I think you're right. Tyler says, what's for tea today? I'm going Tesco after I finish this, so I don't know. I'm quite basic. Monday to Thursday, I'm pretty basic in terms of what I eat. Probably, boringly, chicken and rice. Soz. Ronnie's in the comments. He says Ashworth had a long-standing interest in Deligt, tried to sign him at Newcastle. There you go, bit of info from Ronnie B in the comments. Liam says, I think Casemiro staying another year as a senior professional in and around the group. Based on Saturday, if you can rest as much as possible over the season, he could be a big gamer. I think bringing Collier on for him for 30 minutes is a great shout. And I think, do you remember what we did with Rio? And it's funny this, because Rio doesn't remember this happening to him. And I had to go and check the stats afterwards, and I was fucking right when I said it, which is that he only basically played once a week, 2013. I think he ended up playing like 29 games, and we was bringing in like Smalling and Evans and probably Jones to a certain degree as well to manage the time him and Vidic were playing. And then he would play like in whichever the biggest game was. If it was the Champions League, he'd play in the Champions League, but then he wouldn't play at the weekend, or he would play at the weekend if it was like a League Cup game midweek, something like that. He was managed. And I think that's what needs to happen with Casemiro. I think we all saw last season. You saw it at both ends of the scale, right? You saw it with Casemiro and you saw it with Garnacho. If they play week in, week out, no breaks, they fucking crumble. The only person that I've seen not do it, and we even saw it a little bit last season, was Bruno Fernandes, right? They all fucking crumble. You know, managers keep talking about the welfare of players, but them don't really seem to want to rotate with it. So on one hand you go, you're sort of partially to blame for this, lads, as well. on the other hand, you go, let's figure this one out a little bit. Liam says, I'd go the other way, Steve. Keep Casemiro on the bench, bring him on last 30. Nah, I don't think he's an impact player off the bench. I think his pride requires that he starts, and I think he's still got the ability to start. But you play him less, and it's one of those. Anthony says, I saw you sweating your back out on the stories last night. That was inspiring to keep going. And when I next work out, I'll put more effort in. I did an hour on the stepper. So shout out to my mate Tom. I'm doing this challenge at the moment, which I'm making content about. So it'll be an IRL video at the end of the month. I keep pulling my calf. It's fucking annoying. I've got an ultra in 3 weeks. And right now, I think there's a 20% chance that I even make it to the start line. 56-mile ultra across the mountains. I've got to finish it in 20 hours. It's 3 mile an hour for 20 hours. It's pretty fucking brutal going. I keep pulling my calf and I don't know what it is. And obviously I can't rest because I can't just turn up cold to the start line for this ultra. So Janine set me a little challenge of just 15 minutes on a Stairmaster. And there's a routine that you do. So you end up starting at level 6 and finish on level 10. It's pretty hard. But I also sometimes feel the need to just fucking go absolutely turbo. And Thursday, I tried to do an hour, but I was struggling. Like, I didn't need any setbacks, otherwise I wouldn't have got anywhere near the hour. And the machine only does 30 minutes. The machine just gave me 30 minutes and then it turned itself off, and I couldn't figure out how to get it restarted to make it do an hour. But in my head, I feel like a little bitch for only doing 30 minutes when I wanted to do an hour. So last night when I went, I was like, right, I'm doing an hour tonight, and that's that. I still had to sort of start the cooldown and then press stop and kick it off again. So if you actually look at my story, you'll see there's a little bit of a oop like that in my heart rate, and that's where the machine has stopped, and I've had to fucking mash the keyboard to get it back going again and carry on with doing it. But shout out to my mate Tom, because he sent me a story from Matt Fraser, a YouTube video from Matt Fraser. Matt Fraser was like the absolute fucking greatest CrossFit Games athlete there's ever been. And he goes, if I've only got 30 minutes to work out, I'm going to the Stairmaster. And I think that's a real good thing, is having someone of that level of fitness say, hey, the fucking Stairmaster is belting. Because it's the fucking fittest guy in the world. So me saying I'll do 15 minutes every day for 30 days, and the fittest man in the world saying if I've only got 30 minutes, I'll do 30 minutes on a stepper. I go, okay. So doing an hour on it, I hit like a fucking 14.5 strain on the whoop for anyone who partakes. It was a fucking beast, mate. Yeah. So I'm pretty happy with that. And I'm doing it every day. So I'm going Tesco, I'm doing some chores around the house, doing a couple of videos, and then I'm going back to the gym, and I'm going to do 15, I think, today. Heaven Soul says it might want to get checked for a blood clot in the legs, common in larger lads, and explains possibility for persistent calf issues. I kind of know what it is. It's just boring to say. It's a soleus thing, and the soleus goes very easily and very quickly. It just needs patience, and I ain't got the patience for it. Ant says could be worse. Could be doing the tab from hell on Brecon and then dropped into the Belize jungle 2 days later. Who's doing that? Are you doing that? That's sensational, Techers, if you are. I love that. Rajat says, I have a feeling that we aren't going to sign a right winger. Amara is our only hope. Sancho's heart doesn't belong here, and Anthony is Anthony. Our front three is too inexperienced to assure goals and consistency. Maybe. It is a young forward line, for sure. Brian Casey, my hot take is United finished top 4 ahead of Liverpool. I don't think that's a hot take. I think that's going to happen. Data says, I had a dream where I came to England and it took me to go watch a match at Old Trafford. Hank says, Steve, you should get on the rower. Rinse you quicker than the stairs. The problem is the rower fucking hurts my hips. Rower's really hard and just uncomfortable to do. I used to love the rower. When I was a skinnier guy, I used to love the rower. As a bigger guy, it's just not fucking good, man. Shep72 says, my paddock shirt has just been this second delivered. Bring on Saturday. So for those that are in and around Manchester Friday night, go into the game at Old Trafford on Friday. Get yourselves, please, to Stretford Paddock on Saturday. 3 o'clock kickoff. We are playing Wigan. And we're trying to get as many people as we can down for that game. And it should be a good day. We're calling it a members day, which is basically, doesn't mean that it's only members or anything like that. It's just literally like, we want that to be the one game a season that everyone tries to get down. We've had to organise it really fucking drastically quick because of the way the league give us the fixtures, and we haven't had a lot of chance to plan and prep all this sort of shit. But, you know, we're trying to do that. And if anyone's in the area, we're playing there tomorrow as well. We've got a home game tomorrow, but that's the one that we're trying to do on Saturday, 3 o'clock at Hyde United, if you're interested. Ant says, Stairmaster is a monster, to be fair. Contrary to proper leave, it is the strength in your back muscles that are key. It's got this reputation as being something that chicks do. And it's probably been diminished a little bit because sometimes you see chicks going there for 5 minutes or they're doing some weird fucking like glute extension stuff. So it gets kind of like looked down on. But, like, honestly, you want to see the fucking sweat that just falls out of you on it. Steve, do I buy the United jersey every season? What, 1 in fucking 5, probably. And 1 in 5. One of them in 5. Norman says, my paddock shirt has just arrived too. I think a lot of people will be getting their paddock shirts today. We took fucking hundreds to the post office on Friday. So, yeah, I would think that people are going to be getting their shirts today. Daniel says, your legs are wobbling after a good stair workout. Yeah, I was feeling it yesterday. I mean, I did an hour, obviously, so of course I was feeling it. But yeah, I was feeling it yesterday. What? Patrick says, are there any concerns that Deligt won't be able to allow us to pass out from the back? Delit, right? Delit. Come on, mate. Darren says a friend only goes to yoga classes for the chicks. Hostad says the black keeper kit is nice with the trifold logo. I do like the black keeper kit. Yeah, that's happy days. Brain says 1 hour Stairmaster, 30 minutes cross trainer, 3-4 times a week. Weight falls off. I need to get in the fucking hills. This calf issue's do me in though. We went for a drink, me and the wife, on Saturday after the game, and just walking around Northern Quarter, I was kind of like, this hurts. But yeah, fucking hell. I want to get in the mountains. Nomad Mountaineering keep tagging me in reels and stuff, and I want to go and get on some expeditions and that. We're going shooting again this month. Hopefully, try and make some content out of it this time as well. I'm taking Janine. New Juventus one is beautiful. I haven't seen the Juventus one. Is that the Navy one? Nick says, Steve, what position would I play and how would I play in what system? When I played, I was left wing or left back. I'm left footed. But that's just showing my age, isn't it? Because nowadays that would probably mean I was a fucking right winger, wouldn't it? But it's one of those, isn't it, I think. Evan Soul says the Juve one was gorgeous. I'll have to have a look at it. Oka says, hey Steve, what current signing do I think will have the most impact on next season? Don't know, actually. I don't know. I really don't know. Chris says Casemiro would definitely be better with our new defenders behind him. I think so too, yeah. Ross Hartley says, slight change of subject, but thoughts on the Mokaev and UFC situation? I think it'll get resolved. I not everyone agrees with me on this one, but I think that Dana's always had a problem with the smaller weights, and I think he's always kind of had a problem with fighters that grind out results and aren't necessarily as entertaining. And I think Mo kind of falls into that category, and he doesn't want a dominant 125er that's just going to fucking grind out wins. Look how much he hated on Mighty Mouse, and I love Mo, but he ain't Mighty Mouse. So I think he was, he'd seen his house with stuff. And people were like, oh, well, look at all the stuff he did in the background. All right, cool. Have you ever heard of John Jones? Have you ever heard of Conor McGregor? Like, he loves it when it's the ones that he likes. He's a fucking weird guy, man. And his whole thing with this fucking power slap shit, I think he's just gone off, man. I think he's just gone off. Brian says, would explain why he started that ridiculous slap thing. Yeah. Dramatic Reddit says, is Hamas classed as homegrown? Yeah. Data says, Kessie still has a few misplaced passes Saturday. Hope he's told to think twice more. Not that many, I don't think. I'm not sure it was that many, to be honest. Anyway, right, I'm going to wrap it up now because I've got quite a few vids I need to get boxed off today. But cheers, everyone, for chilling in, having a chat and all that lot. And I'm going to do how I think United will line up this year. I don't know if that'll be out today or tomorrow, but we will see how it goes. But cheers for tuning in, everyone. Make sure to like and subscribe if you're new, and I'll catch you in the next one. Laters. Hey, thank you for watching the video. If you are new around these parts, then don't forget to subscribe. My channel is proudly supported by my community on Patreon. If you'd like to get a little bit of extra content, a Discord group, meetups, five-a-side games, weekly podcasts, behind the scenes, and even an occasional bit of transfer news as and when I get it, then for the price of a pint, you can show your appreciation for the content that we make and get some goodies for doing so as well. Check the link in the description or click the button right here. You'll also find all of my socials here too if you want to follow me on any of those platforms.